Okay, sorry for the quick fire round last time around. It's yeah, there was a lot there to try and digest. I'm going to slow it down a little bit this time. So first thing I want to do is well, just a couple of really small, easy to use commands that might have some benefit to you at some point in the future. So first one is going to be jot. Right now, jot, very straightforward. Jot, in my case, what I use it the most is to generate random numbers. So I can do that by doing jot-r. Then I want to pick one number from a sequence of 1 to 100. Okay? And if I hit enter, you'll see it gives me a random number. Now, if I wanted to change this and I say, well, I only want, let's say I want 5 random numbers from 1 to 500. Then it's going to give me 5 random numbers and so forth. All right, so that's pretty cool. Just very quick and simple. Next up is the sequence command. So seq. Now, with sequence, what I'm going to do here, I want to... It works a little bit different to the jot command in terms of the way things are organized. I want to search, or not search, let's say I want to produce a sequence of numbers between 1 and 10, okay? So, between 1 and 10, but in the middle of this, I need to put how many stages, right? So if I do 1, it's going to do every single number, right? If I go in and I choose 2, right, it's going to start at 1, then count every 2 up until it hits 10. There you go. Start at 1, 3, 5, and so on. And I could do all of the, clearly the even numbers if I put 2 in there instead. So, pretty cool, right? Now, what I can do is I can mess around a little bit here, and you can kind of start to see how a lot of these commands relate to each other. So, with jot, I can get a random number just by putting in this command up here. But just to show you that it's possible to do another way, right, we're going to do sequence 1, 1, 100, okay, which is going to give us a sequence of 1 to 100 incremented by 1 digit at a time, right? Then, let's say I want to pick randomly. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do shuf. Shuf is short for shuffle. All right. Now, if I do shuf, what's going to happen is going to produce all those numbers from 1 to 100 in a random sequence, right? Which, you know, if we're just looking for one random number, this is not going to work for us, right? But what we can do is that we can then pipe again and do head -n1, which is only going to show us the first line of that. All right, so hit enter, and there we go. There's our one random number done the same way as if we'd used the jot command. Now, one thing that I just want to show you, we didn't get to this, and I don't know why I omitted this in previous, but we talked about pbcopy, right? Now, pbcopy, that means that everything that I do here, pbcopy is going to get a random number from 1 to 100 put in there. Okay, so I hit enter. We don't get any feedback, but if I do pbpaste, there you go. There is our number, and it was 3. Now, we just have that little weird mark at the end. That's not part of the number. That's just part of what is known as the string in Unix. You can suppress that. How do I do that? Hang on. Let's do man pbpaste just to take a look to see if there's a way to do that. Oh, well, it doesn't actually... Alright, maybe it doesn't have a way of doing it, but you get the general idea, okay? So, there's those ones. Now, I'm going to clear this because the next command is actually one of my favorite commands to run on macOS. So let me show you why. Remember that I've got a bunch of files in this folder, okay, including, let's see, we've got, is there a Word document? There he is, recent interesting cases .docx, right? Now, if I try to cat out recent interesting cases, that's what I get, right? It's utter nonsense because that file is encoded and in such a way that we can't read it really well, and then it is zipped up. So we don't get to necessarily see the content here. Now, that means that if I try to search for, let's see, computer over this file, I get nothing back, right? Which means that the search for these Word documents is pretty useless, all right? Now, what I can do is that I can force the command line to convert that Word document into something that I can read in the terminal, all right? So textutil is this command. And what I want to do is I want to do dash convert, and I want to tell it to convert whatever I feed into it into txt. Now, I can tell it to do this as a file, or I can tell it to dump the content back out to the terminal instead. All right, so if I do recent interesting cases.docx and hit enter, there you go. Right, it then dumps everything out to the terminal. Like, it reads that file, converts it to text, and then puts it out here instead, which is absolutely amazing. So that means that I can do that. I can now do my grep search -I computer, and there you go. Right, wonderful. So we have that, but not only do we have that, but let's say that I instead want to have this read back to me, right? And so I'm going to use the say command. I'm going to use -v, and Samantha is the voice I want to use here. So let's try this.
Recent interesting cases. Names have been changed to protect the guilty. Improper use of company computers. Company computers were locked down tight. Each employee was assigned a user profile.
All right, so I'm just going to stop that there. But you get the general idea, right? That means you can have anything read back to you. And one of the things about macOS is it has tons of different voices to actually choose from. If I do say -v and then do a question mark here, it will tell you all the different voices which are available. All right, so that one was a fairly robotic one. Let's see if I do a quick grep for grep-I premium. All right, so now we can pick a different one. Let's try Ava. All right, and just so you can see what the difference is.
Recent interesting cases. Names have been changed to protect the guilty. Improper use of company computers. Company computers were locked down tight. Each employee was...
All right, so there was Ava, Jamie.
Recent interesting cases. Names have been changed to protect the guilty.
All right, so you get the idea, right? Loads of cool things that you can do with say. Now, that's all I really have for you today, but there's still plenty there. What I want to do in the future is kind of put a lot of these commands together so you can see why I've been talking to you about them. Like, do something cool so that you can see exactly what the point in all of this actually is, rather than just seeing commands individually. But we'll get there. Until then, thank you for watching, and come back in a couple of days for another video.